8:30, we all ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to call our Finance and Audit meeting to order at 8:30 a.m. We have Kelly, Larry, Carolyn, and myself present. We're missing the other three. We have minutes for approval. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Larry, Kelly, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Public comments?
No one signed up?
No one signed up. All right, member comments. I just have one. Our June meeting is normally scheduled for June 6th. We're gonna move it to June 7th so that Baker Tilly can come and give their presentation. We're not able to make it on the 6th, so we're just gonna move it to a Friday, okay?
8:30?
8:30, same time. Same time, same place. Any other member comments? Okay, we'll go on to routine consent agenda, items to be removed from routine consent agenda. Go ahead, Carolyn.
7-11.
7-11.
7-12.
Okay. Any other?
7-19.
Okay.
7-6 and 7-7.
Any others? No?
Carolyn had me covered.
Okay, that's fine. All right, then I'll entertain a motion to approve items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, and 21. Carolyn makes that, Kelly seconds. Go to vote. Terry?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay, motion carries. All right, we're on to item 7-6. I'll entertain a motion. Kelly, Larry seconds. Kelly, you go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question because it did not go out for RFP. And I see that it says we worked with the company before, but that was, how many years ago was that? And
Sure.
yeah, just can you explain that?
Sure can. We don't go out for proposals with professional services, architects and engineers. The law is written in such a way that we can go out for qualifications and we can do an RFQ and then we can select a vendor and then get a price. In this case, we could negotiate that price potentially, but we don't get to select from a number of prices. We get one. So in this instance, rather than go out for an RFQ, we have several engineers that we work with regularly who have performed great service for us in the past, and that's why we went down this road with that. We weren't able to be competitive.
Okay. All right, that's all.
Sure.
Thanks.
Any other questions? If not, we'll go to vote then. Teresa, I don't know if you want to vote on this one. We're on 7-6.
7-6.
Yeah.
Well, I will vote on it, yes.
Okay.
I've read the resolution, so.
Okay.
Want me to vote? No,
Sure.
you need a, yes, I will vote yes.
Okay. Kelly?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay, motion carries. We're on the item 7-7. I'll entertain a motion. Kelly? Larry? Kelly?
That was me again. So I was doing a little research, and thank you for looking into green energy and, efficiency, I guess. And I noticed that this company has a AAA plus rating, so that's good. Just, how is this incorporated in our goals for reducing carbon footprint? Because it says it'll reduce by 14%. So does that meet our goals that we're looking at?
Well, our goals are to always try to reduce CO2 emissions when we have the opportunity to do so. And there were several drivers for this. One of the drivers for our selection was there's an EECBG grant available to help us reduce our carbon footprint, limited to $269,000. And this particular vendor not only was able to provide equipment that does reduce our energy costs and our CO2, and also complies with the BABA requirements for that grant. And they were the only vendor that produced the paperwork necessary for us to be assured that we will be able to avail ourselves to that grant.
Just out of curiosity, I was not sure which, not that it's important, but are we buying the one with the heat pump too?
We are not buying the one with the heat pumps because this manufacturer was not able to provide that validation that they would need that grant.
And are we doing gas or electric?
It's gas is a secondary component in the way the system works. The gas really is there on the coldest days for us. Typically, we do use it at building warm-up. And actually, currently, the way when we buy our electricity, us producing energy from gas is actually cleaner than the aggregate electrical grid that we receive our power from. So even though, yes, we're using gas to provide some of the energy that we need for this equipment, that energy use is cleaner than if we were to buy the electricity off the grid. There's some argument on the heat pump side of things that it is more efficient, and it is. But again, for this small amount that we need that heating side of the heat pump, it just doesn't just drive the decision and the fact that we wouldn't be able to receive that grant.
And I know that they don't, when it gets really cold, they don't really keep things
Right,
warm.
and that's when we need that side of the heat pump.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions on item 7? Okay, if not, we'll go to vote then. Kelly?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Okay, myself, yes, motion carries. We're on to item 711. I'll entertain a motion. Carolyn and Larry. Carolyn, you pulled this one?
Yeah, and I just, I'm not sure if I did this before, but, so it says here, the original resolution did not identify the sheriff's discretionary funds, nor was the budget adjusted. Can you just touch on that a little bit? And I'm thinking some of this might just come up later on our ARPA discussions anyway, but I just wanted to get some clarification on that.
So to be honest, the original resolution I thought was a little confusing.
Okay.
So that was kind of the point of this, because we could have probably adjusted the budget during the budget process. But doing it this way was a little cleaner. Because in the original one, it just said the 6.2 from ARPA and then the additional from sheriff's discretionary funds, but it didn't identify, nor did it increase the budget.
So you just wanted to go back through this process to identify where it was, rather than just putting it through the budget process?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, now that.
Since it's ARPA, I thought it would be a little cleaner this way, but it's really not changing the original resolution, it's just
detailing it out a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, you usually, you always do, and so something
Yeah.
just didn't click there.
Well, I figured if I was confused by it, then it was probably confusing.
All right, well, that's probably what's going on with the next one, but, okay.
Anything else? No? Okay, we're gonna go to vote. Larry?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay, motion carries. We're on to item 712. I'll entertain a motion. Larry? Carolyn?
Yeah, I think this was just to talk a little bit about, again, the difference between what was budgeted and then not budgeted, and the use of the utilization of fund balance. So can we just talk about this a little bit?
So this one actually came about, when we get into the ARPA discussion, I don't remember from last month, we talked about the revenue replacement projects and then the other projects. And so we are maxed out on our revenue replacement projects. So we've been trying to be creative about what we could put through ARPA that meets the US Treasury guidelines for revenue replacement, if you remember, was pretty much we could do what we wanted with it. So we thought that this one, Bronner's, we sent it to them and they said we could put it through in another category that meets the criteria. So that's what we're doing, all except in the original resolution, there was a section for capital. And so putting a capital expense through ARPA in a building that we do not own was just a lot of red tape. So we're leaving that in the capital fund, paid for by the general fund, but everything else is moving over to ARPA. So the utilization of fund balance, that just means whenever we make any change to budget, we have to keep it in balance. So it's just saying we're using the money in the bank from the ARPA side. It's the balancing the revenue side for the budget.
Good. Kelly?
So in looking at this, it looks like there are ongoing expenses that were like rent, broadband, utilities. Are those being covered by ARPA also?
Yeah, so all the requests in here in the budget adjustment is the initial cost for like the furniture and stuff, but then the ongoing, the rent, housekeeping, utilities, through December of '26.
So I'm concerned about that. I thought we weren't paying any ongoing expenses with ARPA money because we're gonna have to end up putting them in the budget at some point, right?
Well, we actually have a lot of ongoing expenses with ARPA money, so, and this really is just a shift, instead of it all coming from the general fund for the next 2.5 years, it's just coming from ARPA, but it will go back to the general fund after that.
Do you think that the general fund budget will be able to absorb all of this if we have a status quo budget?
Well, and that's what we talk about for the past couple of years. We've been talking about it a lot. I mean, regardless, it's gonna go through the general fund budget because it already passed last month, 2 months ago. It's just, minimizing it by 2.5 years that we can with ARPA. But we'll add it to the list of ongoing expenses after '26.
And if we didn't, if we didn't put this through ARPA, the ongoing expenses, is there enough money in our budget to cover these for this year?
Well, the budget was adjusted with the original resolution, so when you say enough money, do you mean budget or?
If we did not put these through ARPA, would we be over budget?
No. Because the original resolution adjusted the budget for the full amount, and then this one is just saying we're gonna take that piece out of general fund and move it to ARPA.
I just have concerns. I always do with ongoing expenses coming from ARPA.
Any other questions? Okay, go to vote then. Carolyn?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay, motion carries. We're on to 19. I'll entertain a motion. Larry? Carolyn?
This one?
I think the answer is going to be the same as it was for 11, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Thank you, but I'm trying to
Sure.
find it.
Go back to here. I'm gonna stay for this one just in case.
You can just stay there the rest of the meeting if you'd like.
Get you one of those little tents.
Which number are we on?
We're on 19, and Carolyn pulled it, so I'm waiting for
I know,
Carolyn.
I had my notes, 19.
Oh,
It has, okay, so I'm trying to figure this out because my notes say, we go through so many, it wasn't, my understanding is, unless I read it wrong, it was not included in the budget process, and my question is, when will the other project that is smaller in scope expected to be completed, and with what funding source? Is something in here about?
So what we're talking about is a project that facilities management is doing throughout the entire county. And so there is a small portion of that project that Valley High puts up the money for. We had a different project that was slated to go this year that is not going to it's gonna go, but only in a small port. And so that money that is available for that project is gonna be used for this, except we wanna keep it clean, right? So we're gonna show that the money's coming out of the, fund balance enhancement, and at the end of the year, that money that's left aside for the other project will go back into it. So it's just kind of keeping a nice clean trail of where the money is moving from.
Well, also too, I think the original budget is in the wrong fund. Is in Fund 100, Fund 400,
Okay.
which requires a resolution anyway, so we thought maybe it would just be cleaner to kind of break it apart.
All right, so if you're taking funding from the other project that isn't going on and you're using it for this project,
Mhm.
and you're saying there'll be money, potentially money left over, then that will go back in, what about the difference where there isn't? Do we just budget that again next year for the difference? Is that what you're thinking that
Yeah.
we would have to do? Because there could be a shortfall between.
It was an air handler project that we ended up not spending a large amount of money. So this project actually is far less than the money that's left over.
Okay, all right, thank you. It's hard to see sometimes, okay.
Any other questions on 19? Okay, we'll go to vote then. Let's
Thank you.
see. Brian?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay, motion carries. We're on to Advanced McHenry County, item 8. Carrie and Carrie.
I printed out the handouts if anybody wants it that I sent yesterday.
I was just gonna pull this up. That's okay. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
So there's been a little bit of change since the last time that we were here. There haven't been any new public or county projects approved, but there has been the health department projects, so that amount went up.
Can I just make a comment too that this number obviously doesn't include the election center we just talked about.
Right.
So if you add that to the other approved under the county projects, that gets us very close. About 119,000 remaining in that group of obligation. And then the public projects, I think that's something we're gonna have to address. There's about 1.9 million left that we don't have obligated right now for anything. So, well, we had some money set aside for fiber.
Fiber, yeah.
And that's included in that. So there was a little bit extra.
That's included in the 1.9 or no?
The fiber's included in the 1.9.
So if we don't,
It is?
so we don't quite know where that's at yet.
We don't. I can tell you Adam Latundra today is downtown at a state meeting on fiber. I would say the original plan was not counting on spending anywhere near 1.9 million on fiber. The original plan was more about a commitment for partnering with Frontier in the north central and northeast on hardwiring public facilities at a tune of about 5,000 a facility. So, we were really thinking more in the $200,000 range there, not 1.9. I still take some comfort in knowing that there's more than $250,000 potentially available for fiber because it's such a changing landscape right now, what's happening with fiber. And I like knowing that if we needed a little bit more, it's there. But I appreciate we've got to make some decisions pretty soon on what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, I don't wanna say I'm not worried too much, but because we have all of the projects that we didn't fully fund, on the infrastructure. So, you know, those we could just by a resolution fully, or go back and fund more of. 1.9 still wouldn't cover all of what was asked.
Right.
So, I'm not too worried about that, I guess.
Nor am I.
I know, but I feel like December is gonna be here before we know it.
Well,
Like it's fine.
yeah. But again, I think that's like worst case scenario, right? I don't wanna say worst case, but I mean, that's
The easiest.
the easiest route that we could do, and it would just take 1 month to pass a resolution, send it through, and have it allocated. And then, again, based on what Bronner had told us, if we allocate it and for some reason we're not gonna spend it, then we can go back and reallocate. So, you know, it buys us another year theoretically. So. Okay.
So I've been in contact with all of the public projects. All of them are moving forward and they're working on things. Some of them have had some problems with reimbursement. I'm not sure. I think it's more staffing and just having the time to do it. So I've been working with them to get that done so we can start getting these reimbursements going. The one project, though, that is concerning, and I think that we're gonna have to look at, is Rosecrans. Just because their project is doing better than they had anticipated, and they're creating more revenue, so they can't use the ARPA funds. They're trying to, they're looking at their project to see if there's anything that they could add to that still fits in the scope, that they would be able to use that. But that one, I think that we need to stay on and revisit in the next month or two to see what we should do with that. Because I don't think, with the conversations we're having right now, I don't think that they're going to be able to utilize that full amount. But everybody else who is having problems they've started, things are going now as planned with the different buildings. So all the other projects are moving forward how they're supposed to.
Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Oh, okay, never mind. Answer my own question. You had the Spring Grove Fire Protection District. I was thinking they were getting an ambulance as well, which is like, but they have partial reimbursement, like how do you partially reimburse for one ambulance? But it's assistance equipment, so it's more than.
Yeah, and Spring Grove is actually complete.
Okay, they're at okay.
Yeah, they're at 100%. That one is completed. The one that you might be thinking is McHenry Township.
Yeah, where is that?
So
Yes,
it's right above Spring Grove.
Yes, that's the one.
So they are getting an ambulance, but they also were getting some equipment for it. So they ordered the equipment for it and got that. So that's what's been reimbursed. They're waiting on the ambulance.
That was that special bed thing that they
Yeah.
had,
Oh, that's right.
that real expensive person mover.
Yes, so they
Which
did
explains
get
why it's such
that.
a big part of the total.
Yes.
Okay, are there any other questions? So, what time frame would you like to relook at Rosecrans? I mean, as far as like kind of making a decision with their particular, I mean, I'm happy that their program is
Yeah.
so successful. I mean, that's a great success story, but I also don't want to leave the money sitting out there.
I think that maybe we should start serious conversations about it in June. Let
Okay.
me see if they can, because they're working to see if they can revamp anything for Bronner to look at. So I would say June. I should be able to come back with something, and if not, then we can make a decision.
Okay, sounds good.
Gary, what does that look like? Is that a conversation with you and Rosecrans, or is that Rosecrans coming in here?
Well, so first, it's a conversation with me to see, make sure that it fits into the approved scope that was originally, the project that was originally approved. And then just double checking with Bronner, make sure that it meets all the criteria, and then I would say they'd come in here to make sure that it,
Kind of two steps.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we as a committee need to know that everything's copacetic before it comes to us, I mean,
Right.
so.
So maybe that answered my question. So we're gonna have the opportunity to approve it if they change to a different project. I mean,
Yeah,
why would we not encourage them to give us that money back instead of go find another place to spend it? Just for the sake of spending it.
So there's, well, ultimately that's if they can't update their project that was already approved to fit that in, like maybe there's another part of it that they could do that they weren't doing. Ultimately, that's what's gonna happen if they can't do that, is they'd give it back and we would reallocate it to somebody else.
Okay, but it's not just their discretion to go put it in a different project or do.
No, they can't do
expand the
that,
project.
no.
It's a very narrow, there's strict guidelines from the US Treasury about where things are and how they can spend it. So if they can fit it into there, then they can use it. But
Right.
it has to stay on track with their original scope of what was approved.
Otherwise, we'd have to come back to us.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought I heard. Thank you.
Brian?
I'm a little bit concerned about the MCEDC efforts and changes that are going on in that organization, et cetera. So what is the communication that you're receiving there?
That has been minimal, but I know with all of the stuff going on, so I was going to continue reaching out, because that one was just approved in December. And then I know all the stuff's all the changes we're starting. So that one might be another one, but I'm gonna continue to reach out to them.
I guess that's my question. I'm supportive of the effort, but I'm concerned about the changes and that type of thing and whether or not that's realistic at this point. Mike, do you have any insight on that or any thoughts?
So, we're hoping to have a new executive director shortly, within the next 30 days. And the program is in essence, I don't want to say waiting for that new executive director, but the executive director has to run it. So it's presenting it to that individual, making that individual understand what the award was, and then subsequently, if the new executive director says, I don't want to do this, then communicate back to us that feeling, and then that money would come back.
Do you believe that it's realistic at this point that a new director coming in is going to jump on this particular project?
I think, based on the vision that the board has, yes, because that is part of the outreach to the county that we're hoping to have happen.
Okay, thank you.
Kind of be a nice opportunity / tool to get in the community.
Acquainted.
Correct, yep.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
So one question I have for you is that when you're saying they're like you're only worried about one of them. There's a couple I'm probably worried about. Oh, maybe this is maybe I should talk to you offline about this. But what's the time frame where you're like, oh yes, I know they're on track, even though it says 0% or it says they've barely taken any. And some of these projects I would have thought they would have taken more in the first year of their project than, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe I don't know if the whole committee's interested in timelines, but when we see, that there's 0%, but it's okay, it's on track. We have until now December of 25 to reallocate. And originally it was 24, December of 24, but then it got an extension.
It got extended, but the extension is, if you have a project that's approved that's not performing the way that it's supposed to, you can take those funds and reallocate it to something in that same category. So it has to be within that same category. So you can reallocate, but it has to be something, so like if it's workforce, like with the manufacturing ones, it would have to go to the same thing.
It should still be workforce.
Yes. So as long as it's within the same category. But like, is there one in particular? For example, like the, fire departments, the ambulances are ordered.
Yeah.
They can't submit for reimbursement till they receive it and they've actually paid for it.
Right.
So, that's why those are at zero. The building projects,
That's true, for the fire, for the ambulances, they're back ordered.
yes,
So if the ambulance doesn't come in until January 2027, that's lost, right? I mean, I don't wanna take it from the ambulance, I wanna keep the ambulances.
yes.
They're not threatening, but what happens if their ambulances show up until, January, February 27?
I mean, we're a reimbursement grant, so I would have to check with Bronner, cause if it's already, like if they have proof that it's ordered and it's not their fault, maybe there's an exception, so I can look into that
And as
one.
we get closer to the end of
20
'26,
Right, yeah.
the US Treasury would probably release something on that.
Yeah,
Well, and again, it was
Yeah.
our choice to make this a reimbursement program. So that
Oh.
wasn't the federal government's choice, that was ours.
Oh,
So
okay.
we could in December of
Sure, yeah.
26 say, we're gonna release the money to you because it's already been ordered. That
Oh,
that
okay.
was our choice.
That's our choice, okay,
Yeah,
so that's good then, because I don't wanna pull back from the ambulances just because
No,
they're
but
back.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but they can't control when they're
They
actually
can't,
gonna
no.
get the ambulance
Right.
either, so.
Right.
Again, the purpose of the reimbursement when we started this program was because we didn't want entities to take the money and then never be accountable for it.
Right, no, I agree with the reasoning.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm also glad that we can decide to release December 26th to like the ambulances and anything else that might fit that category for us. So, I mean, the one I am always watching is the Sage YMCA, because I only want to give them maybe 100,000
yeah. So I did speak with them.
or less, yeah.
And I did put their little update there.
Yes.
So they had 15 campers last season.
Are they happy
11
campers?
11 of them were, they're coming back.
Good answer, right?
So 11 of them have rejoined, and then they have 15 new campers. They're hoping to get at least 5 more, and all of those are under the grant. So we're gonna see a good amount spent this year on that. So I think that once we start getting those reimbursements, you'll feel better.
Well, true, but also they're supposed to be new campers every year, so like Tommy Smith can't be counted each year if he did it the first year.
Right, so we have, 11 of them are ones that are coming back. There's 15 new ones, so
Okay,
they wanna get at least 5 more new ones for this season.
alright.
Second. Calm you down a little bit.
Well, I still think they can't
once
pull it
we
off.
start getting the invoices and the reimbursements start coming in more, you'll feel better.
Alright.
You're trying to figure out some way to take it back down to 100,000.
So as long as we're, oh, go ahead.
Either one, I don't know, whatever.
Go ahead.
So if we, it gets to the end of 2024 and we still have, this 1.9 million, and we allocate it to some of the underfunded, like the water sewer projects, that's considered infrastructure, right? And they don't use it, could we reallocate that to fiber? Because that's infrastructure?
No, it would have to be another water sewer. Water sewer is a
Separate
specific
category.
category.
Okay.
I would hope that we would have some more solid information on the fiber by middle of next year at least, if not sooner, I mean. Because all those grants are being awarded and there was how many $10 million grants?
We were requesting 10 million.
Right,
Well, we weren't, but Frontier and
Right.
Comcast were.
but I guess my point is they should have heard by that point
I
whether.
don't think that those initial grants are going to be awarded in the same manner that they were requested.
Okay.
And what the state is doing is trying to coordinate 2 buckets of federal allocations. And this first was all through this Connect Illinois Phase 1, 2, and 3 program. And it doesn't appear that we're going to get any of those dollars. The much larger bucket behind it is the BEADS funding. And that's the money that everybody said, it's not a question of if, it's when, but it's gonna be spread out over probably 5 years. And the state's kind of controlling that allocation also. It's disappointing but understandable, I guess, because you would think that the state would want to be celebrating and dancing on these announcements of these dollars, and they're holding back and they're holding back and they're holding back. And it would seem that they're just trying to make allocations based on geography and equity and income and speed with what's already existing. And it's such a monumental task that they aren't able to just make these kind of celebrations that we anticipated. So it's trying everyone's patience, but I don't step away from that position. It's coming. You know? We know that the partner that we wanted to work with, and we will be working with in the Northeast, Frontier, is already diving in this summer. They're putting fiber all over Wonder Lake and into Ringwood. That was part of the original map. So it's happening without any of our dollars. And then the commitment from them is next summer, you know, it continues into Spring Grove and Hebron and that area. Where the BEADS money is going to come in is in the less dense areas. And that's where, as I said, I like having some of this money held back, because the potential is that to get some of these less dense, you know, rural areas, you know, the Von Bergen farm, you know, it's just, you know, those kinds of addresses may need some additional help. And that's where the BEADS money is going to come in.
And you mentioned Comcast and Frontier. Is I3 also?
I3 is, you know, we met with them probably 10 months ago, and they're a company out of Central Illinois, big in Peoria, Decatur, Bloomington, Normal, and they made a decision to come in and overbuild in McHenry County. And when they visited my office, that same 2 days, they visited 7 municipalities and city manager offices. And I know that they've been all over Crystal Lake. I see them digging all over Woodstock. But their business model, it's fine. We welcome more competition. We welcome more speed. But their business model is not really to go to the areas that we need them, right? Their business model is to overbuild. Their business model is to come into my neighborhood and take 40% of my neighbors from Comcast and AT&T. That's great, but it doesn't move the needle on the rural areas.
Is that who came through our area?
What's that?
Is that who came through our area?
Yes. I agree.
Oh,
I got a call from Carolyn Schofield one Saturday morning. She said, they're all over there in my backyard. What's going on?
Okay, any other questions?
Did you have a question?
well, I just, yeah, we got out of that was interesting. I was just wondering, like, what's going on with United Way, if you have any idea. If we have it's like 1.6, and it says on track, it's collaboration to increase workforce and reverse development laws.
Yeah, so they are moving forward. They submit monthly for reimbursement. So far they're meeting the approved budget.
So just because there's a difference in what.
Yeah, and it's just it's a slower project. So that one will run through 26.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you for the update. I would still really like the format. It's very easy to follow and straightforward, so.
Do you want us to send it to the whole board?
If you don't mind, that'd be fabulous.
Okay.
Okay, we're on to reports. Gary.
They were in their t-shirts.
This is her favorite part of the month.
What
right
did
now.
we do with the t-shirt?
Remember we didn't need
Dan, can I
You just
use
have to
this
tell
for
me.
the internet?
Sure.
Or actually, can I plug in mine? Yes, thank you. So I guess first some housekeeping items. I forgot about the t-shirts. Can someone remind me of the t-shirts?
I can't remember. Oh, I just.
They didn't go through the correct process.
Yeah, and, staff person.
She's at training in Ohio.
Yeah, a staff person couldn't be here, but, t-shirts for the employees were ordered, and, I think it was some additional shirts needed to be ordered, and it wasn't expected to go over 5,000. It was just a mistake, so it went over 5,000. We still moved ahead with processing the payment, but it should have gotten quotes. It's just a little bit over 5,000, but we just wanted to inform, it's your guys' purchasing ordinance. When there's instances where sometimes things happen and non-compliance, we just like to keep the committee informed. But
We've used the same company for several years in a row, and the bill has always been under 5,000.
that's a great point.
They're getting more popular, some of the late orders came in, we added to it, it trickled over 5,000. Shannon's office appropriately flagged it, and we feel a responsibility to let you know.
But no big deal. I don't see it as an issue. Just wanted to inform.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about June 7th right now too?
Whatever you want to talk
Okay.
about. The floor is yours.
So we are still on track to be finished with the audit by the end of May. And so we were working with Baker Tilly on trying to get them to come out. And so John has a conflict on June 6th, which is your next finance and audit meeting. And then the one in July is on July 3rd. So he also cannot make that one. So we talked a little bit about, I don't really want to wait until August to have him come. So he is available on June 7th, which is a Friday, which would still give us the opportunity to have the finance and audit resolutions on the committee of the whole agenda before it's posted. So I don't know the process.
You're asking for us to move the meeting to the
Yes.
Friday?
Yeah, so we're
Friday,
gonna
June
move the meeting
7th.
from Thursday to Friday, same time, same place, just we're moving it a day so that Baker Tilly can be here to present.
Fine with me,
Okay.
yes.
Is there a way we could move it to 9? I have something at 8. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I mean, I've got.
Never mind.
Well, you'll be here for Baker Tilly, I think.
I think she was thinking she's at 8, so she's gonna be late at 9 too.
Oh, okay, got it, okay.
I'll figure it out.
I have no problem
I don't have.
with moving it to 9 or Friday.
I'm sure I'm fine, I suppose.
If we want to move it to 9, I don't really care.
9's fine with me,
Doesn't
yeah.
bother me.
9 o'clock.
In
We're
fact,
changing the meeting anyway, so.
later is better for me all the time.
I agree.
Larry, just postpone your
I
golf
don't care when
outing.
you guys have me. Either I can make it or I can't, so.
Okay, there you go. All right,
Thank you.
so we'll do 9 a.m. then.
9 a.m. Friday, June 7th.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was actually debating whether or not I was gonna show you guys this because I feel a little bit like I'm always showing you the same things. But based on some of the questions I get, I think there's still some confusion because I know you guys get a lot thrown at you. So just to kind of clarify, but before we start, Maureen Gates, she's in finance. You guys probably don't know her because she does a lot behind the scenes. She really helped a lot with ClearGov, getting it where it needs to be for 24 and then getting us ready for 25. So that's actually why I'm showing it to you, more in anticipation of how we're gonna use it for the budget, but you know I always love to show it to you. So, if you
Showing us
go,
how to get there.
yes, this I think, is my mistake for assuming that, because, you know, it's like second nature, I know where everything is, but like I said, it's a lot, there's a lot of information. So if you go to our website, under departments, under finance, under budgets, so this is where we have the Questica, the open book, the interactive piece. But then if you click on this budget presentation, this is kind of our new GFOA budget book. It's an online version versus the gigantic PDF. So the reason that I like this is I feel like a lot of people don't want to just peruse the 500-page document. So this format makes looking for something a lot easier. So, you know, we have like the opening section where you can talk about, where it talks about, you know, what's in the book, why it's important, how it relates to our document. Org chart, financial policies, the budget policies in here, strategic plan, and so on. It's kind of like high level, and then we drill down. So departments, if you look here, if you're looking for a specific department, you can just find one, click on it, FTEs, capital improvement, and then debt. Also,
There shouldn't be a lot under that debt folder.
there's not, but it's a requirement, so just, we
Click
have
on that
to
debt
have,
folder, what do we got?
well, we have to have the debt limit.
Yeah?
It's not showing up on mine. That,
You have to scroll in the little, oh, maybe I have it.
it's, the next button after capital improvements is print, but I'm on the iPad.
Let me look to make sure it's not.
And it might be if I have to scroll, but I'm not
Found
sure
it
how
on
to
the
scroll.
There's a
Computer,
little-
it's working
the
on the
little-
computer, maybe it's the iPad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait a minute, there it is.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, you have to kind of like you don't know it's there because the arrows aren't there until you very gently
Okay.
cover it, so you won't know that there's something else there.
So
We don't
also,
have that anyways.
yeah, unless you
Hiding
want to look at
anything.
how much debt we could have.
Okay.
And then for those people that don't want to use the internet, you can print a version. What's nice about this is you can pick, like if you just want to pick five departments that you want printed out, and then it just emails you a PDF. Wow. So it's really nice. And so I guess the point of why I'm showing this to you, because now we're 6 months into 24, is more so looking ahead to 25. And I think next month, Pete and I are gonna go to all the committees, talk a little bit about this, about Questica. But if you look here, look at the treasurer. So each department starts with how it was created, whether it was resolution, state statute, or whatever. Their functions, if there's mandated, if there's county board requested. So for the 25 budget, what we're going to do with each of the departments is start with this and then make changes and update. Because honestly, these haven't been updated in a while, so I think it will be a good exercise. So the idea is in your packets for budget, we'll have this printed out, but we'll also have a link so you guys can come in. So I guess in the next couple of months, if you want to come in and look, and if there's any ideas or something you think you want to see, then let me know. So that was my point of showing you ClearGov, but you know I love to show it anyway.
I love this.
It's really cool. You know, and the nice thing, and it would be really nice if it was fully integrated, but you know, we have our budget in Questica and we have this here in ClearGov. But really, the budgeting tool in Questica is far superior, and this, I think, is far superior to the Questica budget book, so it's fine. But then once we get the 25 budget approved, it's really just uploading it, and then these all will populate on their own, so it's exciting, I'm excited. So that's it?
That's all your report?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna be talking more on the resolutions, but I guess not.
That's fine, I just,
Oh, we have everybody's attention, you know,
he wants to fill the void.
Yes.
You know, last year, we were really challenged with trying to get through the budget presentations efficiently, right? But we still kind of use the same format we've used for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that while we were efficient, I think it was a little bit of a disservice to particular 9 new board members who hadn't really gotten as much involved. And so we're thinking about this tool and that focus on mandated services versus non-mandated services as being kind of the anchor of the budget discussions. You know, just making sure it's understood by all of our county board members, what do we have to do and what are nice to do things and how efficiently are we doing. Is that kind of our vision? So it's gonna look a little bit different.
I'm fine, that's great. Okay.
I can sense your excitement.
We're just trying to hold back, you know.
I know, once you guys go home and you start looking at this.
Right.
Yes, yes.
We're gonna lose a few hours.
Well, if you want the printed out version, I can send it to you.
No.
It really, we've been working, a lot of it has been getting the printed version to look nice. Oh, and this is Main Beach, by the way. It's okay.
Thank you, yes.
And who's the people on the?
I don't know. Did we get their releases?
Yeah, did we get the release?
I feel like you can't identify him, so it was okay.
Is that even McHenry County?
It's Main Beach, it's just like.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Carrie? No? All right, thank you. EDC, quick report. So the Executive Director Search Committee has been interviewing candidates. There is candidates that will come before the full board next week, Tuesday. And hopefully the board will like a person and we can then correspondingly, you know, work with them to be hired.
How many candidates?
Applied?
Or you're interviewing?
We interviewed, well, we had 3 different rounds of interviews, so the number dwindled as we went along. And I don't want to say more than that.
Got it.
So, trying to think of what else. Is there anything else I'm not thinking of?
No, I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned what Dr. Sagar mentioned, that, you know, the ARPA program is still kind of in holding, but expected to get going pretty rapidly.
Yep. Yeah.
Are you continuing on the board?
What do you mean?
MCEDC board. Are you, how long are you on that board?
Vice.
I'm the liaison on behalf of the county, so until y'all decide I'm not there anymore, then I'm there.
I was thinking you were on the board, I guess.
Well, it's a voting position, so I'm technically on the board. Natural McHenry County?
All right. You want to be out by 10:30? I don't know if you're going to make it. No, this will be pretty quick. If you have not yet RSVP'd for the June 6th dinner, please do. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be held at Lincoln Farmstead in Huntley. Keynote speaker is going to be Daniel Thomas, who's the Deputy Director of the Illinois Illinois Office of Tourism, not Danny Thomas of Wendy's, just 2 different people. So if you don't have one, if you didn't see one of these cards, you should have one in every box, one in your box. I have a few extras, so please do that.
So that's an incentive to go to our box and clean it out.
Yes, it is. See, ulterior motive. All right.
Well, and I knew at least more than a week ago, they were 50% sold out. So if you want to go, make sure you RSVP soon.
Thank you. Good point. Very good point. It's the last meeting that was held, we talked about the budget. We presented a draft budget. Had a really good, robust discussion on this budget because it's really a pivotal change for naturally McHenry County. Historically, we've been, on the past several years, working to move to more of a destination marketing organization. The next step of that is really looking at our staff capacity, and this budget includes an increase to go from 2 full-time staff to 3 full-time staff. This 3rd position will focus in on partnerships, on outreach. Partnerships are revenue generators on the good side. work with the businesses and show the value of the organization to get them to join so they can further benefit from what this organization provides. And there's a lot of value to what naturally McHenry County can provide to a small business, to a large business. So we're really excited about that position. The board is supportive of that. We have a good job description, and we're going to start the recruiting process very soon. The budget year is July 1. So this person won't be on board, but be on the lookout for that. We're excited about that change, and I think our staff is very excited because we've taken off, and now we're going to start climbing the storm. We're really excited. With that budget, though, a product that we've used that provided a lot of value, we've actually discontinued. It's called Datify. Datify is it's a service that harvests, in essence, cell phone data. You know, wherever you go with your cell phone, you're being tracked, and that data is being, you know, taken and sold and everything. Datify is a service that we use. So if you went to, let's say, McHenry's, you know, an event in McHenry, they can get on Datify and find out how many people were there, from where did they come, and we can collect a lot of that, just visitor data. That was a pretty expensive service, and because of certain laws that changed, they weren't able to harvest the data that they did in the past. So we've actually discontinued it. And the state, though, however, brought a similar service, not quite as robust, on board, and that's something they're offering for free to the tourism partners. At the low-level basic plan, we can get it for free. So we opted not to pursue Datify. We're going to see what the state can provide. From what we looked at, it seems to be pretty good. It'll get us what we need. We can provide similar value, or we think similar value, to our partners. And with that, we'll be able to at least understand where our population goes. There are some add-on services that we've looked at, but we haven't pulled the trigger on. And that's really it. We're really excited about where things are at, and more importantly, where things are going. So with that, any questions?
No.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Item 12, executive session. I will make a motion to go into executive session to discuss 4 items. One is personnel, C1, contract, C2, and audit, C29, and then to review executive session minutes. Is there a second? Terry? Okay. Roll call vote. What?
Who was the motion?
I did.
Repeat.
Okay, so Brian?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Carolyn? And myself, yes.
Now,
Yeah,
make a motion to send
Actually,
these
I
to
just thought of
the,
something.
make a
We
motion
didn't-
to send these to the state's attorney's office?
yes, please.
We didn't do a roll call of who was in during executive session. Like usually I say my name, we all say our name at the board.
I forgot about that, but you
I've
got
written
it.
down.
She's got it.
Okay, all right.
She's smarter than Mike.
Yeah, right, pretty much. That is true.
Rescue,
All right, so Larry, what is your motion?
to send the minutes to the state's attorney's office for review?
Beautiful.
I'll second.
And there's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. A motion to adjourn at 10:03. Terry?